Hey guys, and welcome back. So it's been a hot minute. Also, I'm sorry about the setup, and I'm sorry that my face looks real beat up. Sorry. It's been a while, so I'm sorry if I'm a little out of practice doing these videos. Also, I'm real shiny. That's fun. But I have a lot to talk about, so this is the longer-awaited the video that I've said that I would have made, the video that I said I was gonna make a long time ago, and I made it, and then more stuff happened, and so we're here, and I promise this video will go up at a reasonable time. And it is currently Thursday, September 19th, so if this video is not up by the end of this week, then you are free to chastise me because I have no excuse. But so today is going to be the long-awaited life update slash get ready with me, because I've got to go run some errands and I don't want to leave the house looking like a bag of potatoes. So I thought we would sit and chat. Also, I meant to hook up my Rode mic. I didn't. So cool, that's just gonna sit there. But yeah, so I'm going to first start off with my favorite morning moisturizer. I use a different one at night, but this is the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel Cream, and I really like it because it's a water-based formula. It is not, it's good for the daytime because it helps moisturize your skin, but it doesn't make it oily, which I really like about that. I feel like it's a little late for me to be getting real ready because it's like 5 o'clock. Actually, it's like almost 6 o'clock. It's 5:40 right now. But yeah, so a lot has happened since the last time that we talked. Gosh, what was the last video on my channel? I need to go back and look at that because I haven't posted in a really hot minute and I feel so bad about that. So my last video was a month ago, and that was my Myrtle Beach vlog. So yeah, it's been a while. So I guess some major updates is one, I am no longer dating my boyfriend who I had been with for 6 years. So I'm going to keep names and identities and things disclosed for other people's privacy's sake. I don't really give a shit, but you know, it's not my place to tell other people's stories. Oh, I need to put on some like chapstick too, just because my lips are chapped. But yeah, so me and my now ex, I will just refer to him as my ex-boyfriend. I just use this like Nivea cherry chapstick. Since it's cherry and it's red, it makes my lips all pink, but it's not lipstick, it's just chapstick. I'm gonna prime my face. I usually don't go through the whole shebang when I just get ready in the morning, but I've got to make this video last a little bit longer because I'm gonna talk, so I need to kind of put in a little bit more effort. So I'm going to take the Tarte, what is this? Clean Slate Timeless Smoothing Primer and Base. And I really like this for the T-zone and for my porous areas because I think it does a really good job at like concealing my pores, you know? But yeah, so I started dating him when we were freshmen in high school. We started dating my second semester of my freshman year in high school in March of that year of my freshman year. So we've been together since, that was 2013, I believe, and then we broke up July of 2019. So we were together for 6 years, 6.5-ish roughly. And when we first started dating, things were really nice, like they were great and whatever, because I also got out of a really short relationship prior to him. It was very mentally abusive. It was not a fun time for me. Just like that whole section of my life was not a fun time. But anyway, so we started dating because he was a lot nicer than my previous ex-boyfriend, and I was like, cool, like, well, you know, you're chill, whatever, I like you. So we started dating. We moved out together when we were 18. We moved into my first apartment, and then we moved into a second apartment, and then we finally moved into this house in March of last year. And we actually moved in, I'm pretty sure, like the day after our anniversary. It was like March, I'm pretty sure it was like March 13th was when we moved into this house. But yeah, so after we moved into this house, just things got kind of, I don't want to say hectic, but things got a little something. I'm going to take this Beauty Blender foundation. This is in the shade 2.20. It's the Bounce foundation, and I'm just gonna, I like this foundation, but it gets real messy to use. And then I'm gonna use this Artis Palm brush because my Beauty Blender is real dirty. But when we started dating, like I said, it was really nice and whatever, and then we had ups and downs like most couples. This is not my shade, but you know what? Screw it. It's too late now. I've already smeared it on my face, and it's whatever. And then when we moved into this house, like really when we moved into our second apartment, things kind of got a little shaky. I was in a place where I was like, I'm not too happy with this relationship, but you know, I'm just gonna make it work because I'm not a quitter. I really don't like to give up on things. I really like to try to stick things out, and if I decide to give up, or if I decide to, like, you know, not do something, then it means that it's really taken like a long time for me to think about it, a long time for me to really not like something, for me to just be like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I didn't want to quit, I didn't want to give up, I didn't want to be like, you know, let me throw away these past, you know, 5-6 years that we've had together. And so we moved into this house, and things were stable. It was, you know, it was whatever, you know, like he went to work and I went to school and I went to work, and that was kind of our life. And it felt like we were an old married couple, and I didn't really like that. Like there was nothing there was nothing exciting, there was nothing fun, like we didn't do anything fun, and it got to the point where I was like, I'm not having a fun time. Like I'm straight up not having a good time, and I wasn't, and I was really, I think a cat opened a door because that scared me. I think I was just like really trying to make it work and trying to make things work, and I tried real hard to make things work. And then it got to a point where I was like, you know, I'm not happy. And it took a lot. Like it surprised me because I always like to be a very strong person. I like to be, you know, I like to not bother other people with my problems. I like to, you know, put on a nice face and everything's fine type of person. But it took a lot for me to like really recognize that I was not happy. And that I needed to change something about that. Also, this concealer is darker than my foundation, but you know what? Whatever. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade medium, light medium. And it is apparently too dark, but it's fine. And I'm going to take another little Artis brush to blend that out. But I would say, let's see, we broke up at the end of July, the last Saturday in July, I remember that. And I would say probably the beginning of July, no, I would say May. May's my birthday month, and I would say that month really kind of put things into perspective for me in terms of like what I wanted. Also, I'm sorry about this mess that's back here. That's my mini fridge that I lived out of when my real fridge downstairs broke, and now I moved it up here. Now I just kind of set crap up there, so I'm sorry that that's in the background. But in May, in my birthday month, I kind of really realized like I wasn't being treated the way that I wanted to be treated. And to me, my idea of like love and what I had seen in a lot of people and in a lot of cases and a lot of, you know, older married couples, it's like, you know, you're with someone for so long, the spark kind of fades, but you just kind of stay with each other because, one, for convenience sake, you know, and then for older people, it's like, you know, you might have kids and stuff, and it's like, it's just more practical to stay together. You know, you may still love each other, but you may not, you know, be all excited about each other like you were when you were young. And I just kind of expected, like, you know, it's been 6 years, we're just at that phase now where it's like we're comfortable with each other, we still love each other, we still care about each other, but you know, we're just we're just, you know, going with the flow every day. And so that was something that I just kind of accepted as that's my reality. It was like I didn't expect to be, you know, in this like honeymoon phase the entire time of the relationship, and I knew that and I expected that. But it got to a point where I was like, it was like I was begging for attention, and it was such a low point for me, because it's like I really try my best in everything that I do. Like I really do try. I try really hard. I'm taking the Too Faced Cocoa Contour Chiseled to Perfection palette, and I'm using this shade Dark Cocoa, which I like a lot, to bronze my face because this foundation is real light on me. But I really try hard in the things that I do, and especially the things that mean a lot to me. Like if I don't really give a shit about something, it's like, okay, I don't give a shit, like I don't care. But in my relationship, I was like, I really cared a lot about this person, and I wanted to make it work. I wanted things to, you know, and I was at that point in my life, and I'm still at that point in my life. I'm 21 years old now. I just turned 21 in May, and I was at that point where I'm like, I'm ready to settle down. You know, I'm not ready to have kids, but I'm ready to get married. You know, we have this house together, we have all these pets together. Like I'm ready to, you know, start this new chapter of my life as a married lady. And so, and I had talked to him about it before. We had discussed the idea of marriage. You know, he was like, I don't really want a wedding because of reasons, and I was like, that's fine. Like I don't really want a big wedding anyway because I can't afford a big wedding. And so, you know, I was like, we'll just have like a nice little courthouse wedding, and then maybe we'll have like a nice reception with friends and family, and you know, that's all that I really asked of him. And he was like, okay, that's fine. And so we would like have these little conversations here and there about like, yeah, like maybe we'll get married, yeah, maybe this will happen. But I really, like, I had gotten to a point where I was really serious about it, and here's a red flag number one that I should have thought more about, is when I brought up the idea of very seriously thinking about, you know, getting married. He was like, oh, I should have used this one. This one is in the shade 2.4, which might have been a better shade for me. That was a bunch of powder that fell out. Cool. But oh well, it's too late now. But when I really brought up the idea of seriously thinking about getting married, it was like, he was like, okay, but I have some conditions. And that's like, that should never happen. You should never be, you should, I don't know, love in general should be unconditional, and especially something like marriage, you should never be like, yeah, I'll marry you if you do these things for me. And some of those things were real something. So one of his like conditions was, it was a little easier pill to swallow, and that was that he wanted a motorcycle. So I'm gonna take the Tarte Amazonian Clay blush in the shade Partey, and I really like this shade. It's a little sample size, it's cute. But yeah, so he really wanted a motorcycle, because his friends, both of his friends had a motorcycle. He was like, I really want one. And I, for the longest time, he really wanted one. And I was like, you know, not really about that, mainly because I always worried about him and his safety, and I wanted him to be okay, and I didn't want to increase the chances of the fact that he was gonna die. I didn't want those not statistics, but those, you know, chances to go up. So for the longest time I said no. And then when we were talking about marriage, he was like, well, there are some things that you can do that can speed up the process of me proposing to you. And I said, okay, what are those? And he said, well, I want to have a threesome. I said, okay. I don't know anyone else that wants to do that. But I said I'd look into it. Also, I have to breathe. I have to not breathe while I do this, but I'm going to use the NYX Professional Makeup Micro Brow Pencil in the shade Black. And it's real hard to do this and talk at the same time, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyway. I'm just gonna have to be real focused about it. But I said, okay, you know, I am not against that idea, but, you know, I don't know anyone else that's for that idea besides both of us. And so I put in effort, I put in work to have that happen. And that might have been stupid on my end, but it's like I, you know, did my best to find people that would want to do that. And so we were talking, and you know, I was not really getting that many leads on that. And I told him, and at that point I was like, I don't know why, I just so desperately wanted to at least be engaged. Like, I think part of it too is because we had been dating for so long that I was like, you know, why aren't we married? Like, being married was like the practical thing to do. So I was like really pushing for that, and I think part of that was just for practicality and maybe also for appearances, because I was like, you know, I wonder if people are gonna ask, like, why are you dating so long and haven't, you know, decided to get married? Like, what's stopping you? Because I didn't have an answer for that. I was ready. And so eventually I was like, you know what? You know, I'm not getting any leads on this whole threesome thing. Like, what if I just say, okay, you can get a bike, but I want a ring? And he really jumped on that. And cat's using the litter box, I'm sorry. But he really jumped on that idea. So much so that he went out like the next day, got a ring, I picked it out, and then later that day went out and he financed a motorcycle, which is, that was stupid on his part, but whatever. And so here I am, you know, he's got his nice new bike, he's going out spending all this money on gear and stuff, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, you have your toy, you know, like, where's my end of the deal? And he was like, well, you know, I bought the ring, you know, I'm waiting for the right time. I said, okay, it's fine. Month went by, 2 months went by, 6 months went by, and it was like October of last year, then it was December, then our anniversary passed, and then my birthday passed, and it was like 8 months had gone by, and I was like, bro, you know, you've been able to enjoy your end of the deal, or your end of the deal, I guess, or I guess my end of the deal, but it's like, where is your contribution to all of this? And so I was getting really frustrated because I was like, it was just like, I felt like he used me as like, oh, well, she said that I could get a bike as long as I bought a ring. Well, I bought a ring, but I haven't given it to her yet. And so that was one thing that really, I was like, I guess that's another red flag, is like, if someone wants to marry you, they're not going to hold on to an engagement ring for 8 months. And his excuse was like, well, I was just waiting for the right time. And I had told him so many times, like, you can propose to me in the middle of our kitchen and I don't give a shit. You know, like, I don't care if it's like, you know, it doesn't have to be this big ordeal. And he was like, yeah, I know, but I just want to. And I said, okay, but like, I'm getting real impatient about it. And he knew that, but he didn't care. And so my birthday passed. I had a real shit birthday. The latter part of the day was fine. The beginning of the day, not so much. So for my birthday, at least for my like birthday present for myself, I really wanted to go to Georgia, and as part of my birthday present to me, I went and saw Blackpink, which is my favorite K-pop group so far. I started listening to them. They were the first K-pop group that I ever listened to, and they were my favorite, and I love them a lot, and I still really enjoy listening to their music. I love the new album they put out. And so I really wanted to see them in concert, and they were going to Georgia, and I've always wanted to go to Georgia. Me and my ex had been talking about going to Georgia for years because I really wanted to go to the aquarium because I love aquariums. They're one of my, I just marked on my chin. They're one of my favorite places to go, that and the zoo, except the zoo, I live in North Carolina. We have the largest zoo in the world, which is really awesome. But the only thing about it is it's literally an all-day thing. And you have to go at a very specific time of the year where it's not freaking hot because most of the year it is just so miserably hot and so humid that it sucks. But I really like aquariums because they're inside, and I also really like fishes. I don't know, like I love aquariums. And so I really wanted to go to the Georgia Aquarium because I had heard such amazing things about it. And so that was my birthday gift to me, was a trip to Georgia to see Blackpink and to go to the aquarium. And I told him, I was like, I paid for the hotel, paid for the gas, paid for the tickets. I was like, the only thing that I am asking of you for my birthday is just to pay for food, to pay for, you know, eating. And we were only down there for a total of 3 days. So 2 nights, 3 days. So I figured, you know, it's no big deal. And he agreed. He said, that's fine. I said, okay, cool. And the thing about him is he made a lot more money than I make. And if he had budgeted his money right, he could have easily afforded anything. But he liked to spend his money on him and not on important things like bills. I always paid all the bills. Since we moved into this house, like he never paid any of the bills for this house. So that was another thing that kind of contributed to my decision. So the fact that he didn't pay bills was like one of the things that kind of helped me make my decision. But another thing was during the trip, it was fine, but it's like, I don't know, I just expected to have more fun than I did. And then the concert came and I enjoyed it, but again, it's like, I loved the concert, but it's like, he didn't want to stand, you know, he didn't want to, like, participate in the concert, if you know what I mean. Like, people, like, concert goers, it's like, it's a fun experience, especially when you're with someone, you know, like a friend or whatever. It's like, you can scream and have fun, and it's like, I felt so self-conscious that I was like, I was like, do you want to stand? He was like, no, not really. And I was like, okay. So we just sat the whole time, and it was real weird. I'm gonna go into Medium Cocoa, which is this shade right here, and contour my nose. And so, like, the concert was like, whatever. I mean, I really liked it. I love seeing Blackpink. It was on my bucket list. I really enjoyed it. Also, I took this Becca highlight in Prosecco Pop, and I put that on my cheeks, on my cheekbones. And so the concert was whatever. That was like the week before my birthday, and then the day of my birthday was on a Monday, and I really wanted to, we just got a Dave & Buster's. If you don't know what that is, it's basically an adult arcade, but we just got a Dave & Buster's in my city, because the closest one is like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And so I really wanted to go to, because they were having their grand opening on my birthday, and I really wanted to go to Dave & Buster's on my birthday and have fun. I don't have that many friends. I have, at that point in time, I had my boyfriend, and then I had one of our mutual friends, and those were like my only 2 friends. And so I really wanted to go with the both of them to Dave & Buster's for my birthday. And he initially was like, yeah, that's fine. And then my birthday came, and in the morning he was like, let's go get breakfast. I said, okay. We went and we got breakfast, and like, he paid for my breakfast, which was, you know, nice and whatever. But it's like, then after that, he was like, well, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends at the Airsoft store. So I'll see you later, basically. And I was like, okay, well, are we going out still tonight for Dave & Buster's? And he was like, well, I didn't, I wasn't planning on it. And I was like, okay, well, I wanted to do that. And he said, we'll see. I said, no. I said, I'm gonna go. I was like, you don't have to come, but I'm gonna go. And he was like, okay, then fine, we'll go, I guess. And I was like, okay. And so then he was out riding his bike, doing whatever shit. And I was out with my grandmother. I had lunch with my grandmother. And then I came home and I told my friend who was gonna come with us, I was like, I'm heading home. Because he had texted me and he had asked if I was home, and I said, no, I'm out with my grandmother, but I'll be home in a little bit. Because he wanted to drop off something for me. And I was like, that's nice. And so I texted him on my way home. I said, hey, I'll be there in whatever amount of time. I got there and he was sitting at the bottom of the driveway, and I was like, that's great, you beat me here, but that's fine. I pulled in and all this good stuff, and I walked inside and I had all these presents on the table, and I was like, well, that's nice. Like, and my initial thought was like, that's nice. Like, my boyfriend went out and got me something, it was like a couple bottles of wine and then some flowers and a card, and I was like, that's sweet. And then I opened it up, and I was like, I opened up the card, and it wasn't for my boyfriend. It was from our mutual friend, and it was like a bittersweet thing. So I was like, that's really nice that he would get me something, because I didn't ask for anything. I was like, I just want you to come with me to Dave & Buster's. Like, that's all I really cared about. But it was nice because he didn't have to do that, but also it was sad because it was like, well, my boyfriend didn't get me anything. And it's like, I get that, like, my thing from him was for him to pay for the food at Georgia, but on your birthday, it's like, you could have at least gotten me a card. It's like $3. If you go to the dollar store, it's like $1. It's like, I expected something. And even then I was like, I get it. Also, I'm not telling you anything that I'm doing. I'm using this Jaclyn Hill palette. I took this shade. I don't know what shade it is. I took this one. I put it in my crease. I took this shade over here. I put that one in my crease. And I took this shade and I put that one all over my lid. I'm sorry. I'm doing a real bad job at telling you what I'm doing. But yeah. So, not only did he not, like, get me anything on my birthday, he, like, didn't wish me happy birthday. Like, at all. It's like, that's something that I have to do for whatever reason. I just spat, I'm sorry. It's like on birthdays, on Christmases, I will have to either, like, on Christmas, I either have to, like, tell him first, like, Merry Christmas, or on my birthday I have to be like, it's my birthday. And then he'll be like, I know. And he'll be like, happy birthday. And I'm like, thanks. Also, there's something in my teeth that I just realized that I had right now. Cool. Also, I'm gonna take this really dark brown shade on this, like, flat brush, and I'm just gonna line my lid with that. But I was like, I shouldn't have to tell you. Like, it's not that he forgot that it was my birthday, it's just that he didn't say happy birthday to me. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so we went to Dave & Buster's, and it was fine, like, it was whatever. And John and Debbie showed up, and honestly that was part of the reason why I was a lot happier, is because John and Debbie showed up, and then I really enjoyed having our mutual friend there. But it was like, I don't know, it was a real sad day. Like, it was just kind of like a real down day for me, and I wasn't really happy, and I was like, it's my birthday, I'm supposed to be happy, but I'm not really happy. And so since then, since my birthday, it's like things just kind of escalated, where I was like continually more aware of how unhappy I was. And I was like, I had just come to terms with the fact that, like, this is just gonna be my life. Like, I'm gonna get married to this man, we're gonna have kids, and I'm just gonna forever be not content with the relationship, and that's something that you should never settle for. Like, that was so stupid. It's like, you should never settle for anything less than happiness. And it's like, I don't know if I didn't know that I deserved better, or if I didn't think that I deserved better, or that I just thought, you know, this is how all relationships are, they're just all like this. And so I was just content. I was just ready to, you know, accept that that was going to be my life, which sucked, and it was real sad. And it got to the point, and I don't even know how this happened, but I started talking to my friend about, you know, all of the things. I was talking to one of my friends, her name is Katie, and I was telling her that I had filed for a marriage license, and she was like, oh, I didn't know that he proposed to you. And I said, well, he didn't. And then she kind of looked at me like, okay. And I was like, I'm just making the executive decision that that's what I want. And we had a really long conversation about what it was that I wanted and if I was getting what I wanted from him. And basically it ended with me crying and basically telling her that I was miserable in my relationship. And that was like the first time that I really had to face like all of these emotions. Because to me it's like, you know, I can just shove them under the table, it's fine, you know, I don't have to think about it. But when I talked with her, it was like I really like laid things out, and I was like, wow, this sucks. Why am I doing this? And so I talked with her, I talked with one of my other friends, and I was like, you know, I need to, you know, figure out what it is that I want, because I'm not happy with what I have. And so I talked to my ex at the time, and I told him all these feelings that I was having. And I told him, I was like, you know, I'll give you a month. So I'll give you a month to get your crap together, to prove to me, you know, that you're worth my time, that you're worth keeping around. He said, okay. And it was, but like at that, like that night that I talked to my friend, I was like, I pretty much made up my mind, but I didn't really come to terms with that yet. Also, I'm sorry if there's some weird cuts in this video, because this is my vlogging camera. I don't usually film on this camera because it overheats after like 20 minutes of filming. And then I have to turn it off, turn it back on again, and then after it starts overheating, it only lets me film for like increments of 5 minutes. So this is going to be a real long video for me to film, because currently my filming camera is also dead, and so it's charging right now, so that's why I'm filming on this vlogging camera. But yeah, anyway. So after I talked with my friend Katie, it really just like made me vocalize all the things that were wrong and made me realize that I wasn't happy, and I was like really not happy. So I'm taking the Marc Jacobs highliner in the shade, and it's black, whatever, it's like black Hoover or whatever. I'm just gonna put that in my top waterline because that's the only place that I put eyeliner now. But after I talked with her, and I talked with my other friend told me a lot of interesting things. But basically, I realized that I deserved better. And I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, I'll give you a month, but it never turned into a month. Like that night that I talked to my friend, I had really decided already what I wanted. But whatever reason in my brain, I didn't make that decision right then and there. So this is the Urban Decay De-Slick setting spray. What? Well, I almost caught that, and then I did it. So we had a long talk, me and my ex, and I told him I would give him a month. It turned into a week, and I said I can't do it. It's like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You know, we're over. And it was an interesting day. It was real rough on everyone, on him and on me and on his family and whatever. And it was just like, and it was so relieving for me, because it's like I had thought about that decision for that entire week. And so it wasn't an impulse thing. It was like I really really thought about it, and I had all these long talks with my friends about, you know, this is how I feel, you know, I don't know what to do, I don't know if this is right. It was just so conflicted, but eventually, like, that just, like, I don't know, I just came to the realization on a Saturday morning that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so I said, I'm done. And I never looked back, and honestly, it was the best thing that I've ever done for myself. That and breaking up with my boyfriend before this one. But he was a lot easier to break up with because he was batshit crazy. And so, and breaking up with him was a lot easier because I was like, we're done, I'm done talking to you. You know, I was really done. I blocked his number, and then we never spoke ever again. This breakup was a lot harder because he continuously for the next 2 months just hassled me, and it was really annoying because he still lived in the house, and I was trying to be civil about everything. I was like, I don't want to kick you out immediately, you know, I'll give you time to find a place to stay, like, I don't want to just throw you out. And then it got to the point where it's like, but I want to be home. I haven't been home in like a couple days. Like, I miss my pets, I miss my bed, I miss being at home, because I'm such a homebody. It's like I just like to be here. And so I was home one night, and he was like texting me, and I was just trying to sleep. It was like 1 in the morning, and he was just saying all of these things, and he started saying things that made me really uncomfortable. And then I eventually was like, I'm just gonna go stay with my parents' house. I drove to their house at like 5 in the morning. I hadn't slept all day, I was exhausted. I crashed on their couch. I woke up to like to my stepmom like standing at the end of the couch looking at me like, when did you get here? Like, what are you doing? And so I was so, like, that whole process was so exhausting. So I think it was like later that day or a couple of days after I had crashed at their house, I called him and I was like, you're leaving. I was like, you're getting all of your, like, I told him, I was like, you're leaving. I was like, your stuff doesn't have to be out, but you have to be out of my house. And I was like, I'm gonna come home in this amount of time, and if you're still there, I'm gonna call the police on you. Because it just got to a point where I was really uncomfortable, and I was really like scared for myself and for my safety. And so he said okay. I came home, he wasn't there, it was great. And then came trying to move all of his stuff out. So he was real lax on getting his stuff out of the house, and throughout this entire time he would send me like paragraphs and paragraphs of text messages of I'm sorry's, I love yous, and all of this remorse that he allegedly felt. And I was like, I don't care. Like, I was like, when I'm done with something or with someone, it's like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to put any more effort or energy into it. So I never looked back on my decision, but it was so exhausting because I was like, I still kind of have to talk to you because you still have stuff in my house, and we have to organize when you're going to come and get it. And then it got to the point where, you know, he would be like, I would be at school and he would want to come over and get some stuff. I can unlock the door from my phone. I would unlock the door. He would snoop around my house. And so eventually I was like, you're not allowed in my house unless I'm there, because I don't trust you in my house anymore. And so that was difficult. We had to organize schedules, and then all of his stuff eventually was moved out of the inside of my house. And then the last thing that he had to move was his crap car that was sitting in my garage since basically the day that we moved in, that he had never really worked on, and it was just sitting there taking up space, taking up my garage. It didn't work. The engine wasn't even in the car. And so getting that out of the garage was like the last thing. And after that, I was like, I'm done. Just get this out of my garage. And that took until the end of August, which was not that long ago, for him to finally, and it was like the last day. It was like August 31st. He got a tow truck, or he got whatever, and got it out of my house. But it was like, it was such a droning process. It was like, it took on and on and on, and it took forever for him to finally get all this crap out of my house. And then once his car was finally out of my garage, I was like, this is it. this is everything. And it was really nice because I was like, I can stop talking to you, I can stop having communications with you. I blocked his number and I haven't heard from him since. and it's been really nice. And so that's like the biggest thing that has happened in my life. And I've had some minor things, like some little things here and there. I got a new car. Her name is Karen. She's had a lot of problems recently. I talk about that in my vlog, so if you want to watch that, you can. But I just basically go into more specifics about all the problems that I've had with Karen. She's a 2006 Subaru Impreza WRX, because apparently that matters. She's a manual, and I really like her. But I really just wish that she would work, because right now she's in the shop, and it makes me sad. But I got a new car. I'm making a lot of life changes right now, and it's just been really crazy. It's been really hectic. So I want to appreciate all of you who have stuck with me through this, because I know it's been something. I know that I'm not consistent with posting. I know that my content is maybe not the highest quality, and I'm sorry. It's just know that it's been a really crazy past few months. Basically this whole year has been kind of a big mess, but we're getting through it. Everything is good. But those are the big things in my life. My friend that I mentioned, not Katie, the other one, our mutual friend, has moved in. So he's living here, and that's been really great. It's been nice to have, you know, another body in the house, because that's something, it's like I was used to not going to bed. I was used to going to bed by myself with no one in the house, because my ex would work till like 3 in the morning. From like, he would leave the house at like 3 in the afternoon, and he wouldn't be home until like 3 in the morning. So I was kind of used to like being alone at night and going to bed by myself at night, and that was fine and whatever. But it's nice. It's a nice comforting feeling to know that there's another person in the house. It's a nice, you know, safety feeling. And so that's been really nice. I think it's going really well. So that was the biggest thing, really, is that my boyfriend of 6 years and I are no longer together, and he's moved all this stuff out of my house, and I've converted this room into my room. But like in terms of little things, it's like the pets are doing good. I'm getting new carpet in one of my rooms. It smells real bad. And overall, like, it's weird. It's like overall I'm happier. Like, I'm happy that, you know, all of this has passed me. I'm happy that I'm in a place where it's like I feel good. But it's weird because my mental health doesn't mirror that. And so for whatever reason recently, I've just been having a lot of bad days, but it's fine. And I'll get through it. But it's weird because it's like, you know, everything about my life from the outside should be perfect. Like, it should be the best life that someone of my age could ask for. But I don't feel that way, and I don't try to be ungrateful, and I don't try to sound ungrateful, but it's just like sometimes I'm not happy, and that's just what sadness does. That's just what depression does. And so I'm working through those things. I'm working through lots of emotions and lots of big life changes, so bear with me. I'm sorry. But I do have a couple of plans in terms of the next couple months. I want to get into daily vlogging. I can't guarantee that I'll do that, but I want to try. We'll see. So I want to try, and we'll see how that goes. I also am gonna maybe get into Twitch. I know that's something that I've really been wanting to get into, but I'm really terrible with technology, so I don't know the logistics of how to really get started. I have like the Streamlabs OBS. I have my camera that I can use if I want to, you know, have a face cam. I'm deciding if I really want to start with a face cam or just start with the basics and see how that goes, and then incorporate a face cam here and there. I don't know, we'll see, but that's where I'm at right now. In terms of like my channel and future projects and things. In terms of like my personal life, like I'm in my personal life for the most part, I'm doing good. It's just I have to work through emotions that happen, but yeah. So that's where I'm at. Thank you if you have stuck this far through the video. I'm sorry that this video was so long. I'm sorry if there were really weird cuts in it. Like I said, this camera's old, and it's old, and I'm sorry. Sorry for this weird background that's happening. I promise I'll promise I'll do better next time. But yeah, so thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you would like, if you aren't already, subscribe down below, hit that like button. Also, if you really care to see my videos, I would hit the bell icon because obviously I don't post consistently, so I don't have a posting schedule. So if you want to see my videos, you're gonna need to hit the bell icon so you actually know when I upload, because I don't have a schedule. But other than that, hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!